here's another League of Legends game coming your way, this time in the form of a post-game commentary, but from the jungle. So as the title implies, we are going to be going Eve this game, AP Eve at that. So you can read what all they're saying in chat, I don't really care, can't really make it out. But in case you're wondering why Eve, with her rework on the horizon, I wanted to get at least before and after game going. I played her a couple times already the day this was recorded, trying to get a feel for her, because prior to this, last time I played her, the Deathfire Grasp was in the game, and it gave mana regen. So yes, that was like Season 2, Season 3, back when Eve was a mid laner. So in case you're wondering how that worked, because for stealth, she'd just stealth, go gank one of the side lanes, come back, and then just pick up where she left off in terms of farming. She had mana regen with her passive and the Deathfire Grasp, I believe. I actually don't remember what her if her passive was the same or not. But anyway, that's the rune page that I'm taking. It's basically 880 reds, 1 crit red, AP Quince, scaling armor yellows, scaling armor blues. Since Eve is technically a hybrid character, she usually gets built solidly one of either the two ways, AD or AP. Some people may not actually realize that, but she is in that rear camp with Akali, Jax, Kayle, and so on. Now, as for your Eve build, I have to put out a disclaimer, there's like a dozen different builds that work depending on what your situation is, so by all means do not take this as the be-all, end-all, because there are tons of ways to play Eve. Granted, when she gets reworked, she'll probably be like all the other characters where there's one way to play her, and if you don't play it that way, Riot nerfs the character and then no one plays it. But anyway, for the masteries, I'm taking the Thunderlord's page here. It's 12-18-0, and basically I'm going to be going Assassin-like. Now, beyond the reason for just getting the game before her rework, the other reason why I picked Eve was when the AD carry on the enemy team switched from Severe to Ashe, I realized, okay, they're immobile, I can run them down. If it were Severe, she could pop her ult, toss her boomerang behind her, and I'm never catching her. She'll get movement speed from her passive, from her ult, and then she also has whatever Zeal item she builds. I think Severe almost always goes Phantom Dancer, but I'm not 100% sure. So right here's where I imagine some of you are probably going to have your first question, what exactly is with that portrait there? So this is a custom Eve skin. Depending on how exactly they do her rework, it will not be usable in the future, so I wanted to make sure I got a game with it. It's a really nice skin. I don't know if it's by the same group that did my Vel'Koz skin, the Nature's Force, or not, but hopefully that just tells you how much detail was actually put into this. It's a lot better than any of the Riot skins for her, and it's much better quality than the average Riot skin anyway. So, other thing to talk about is, right now in terms of jungling, I'm in a bit of a weird situation. Generally for the games, I try to show either one box acquired per week, or if I miss 1 week, I'll do 2 the next, something along those lines. And I've been doing this for about 6 months now. And the reason why this is getting kind of tricky is because Zac, Maokai, Udyr's received some buffs. Basically, these characters have received reworks, and in the case of Zac and a few others, I already got their box, so I can go back and try to re-record them to show off their changes, but that will delay getting the boxes, and unfortunately, right now, the amount of changes that have built up are pretty significant. Like, I have Kindred's box already, she has a change on the horizon where she's going to start increasing her attack range instead of dealing percent HP damage. There were other ones. Rammus got one, he's another one that I have the box for. And it's just, do I want to keep doing things as I'm going? Because I have 20 boxes right now and 1 key, so do I really need to get more boxes is my question. With the way the key drops are set up right now, unfortunately, I may not ever open the majority of those boxes. So right here you can see that her portrait in the bottom has changed. Her portrait on the mini-map is different. Keep in mind I'm the only one who can see this. To everyone else I'm just normal Eve because it's a custom skin, not something you can actually buy. So anyway, while we wait for the camps to spawn, I'll go over how Eve works just in case you're not aware, or in the future if they change her and you're kind of curious on how she used to be. Your passive will stealth you. If you notice I'm stealth right now, if you do not attack anything within 6 seconds. This includes auto attacks, spells, what have you. And even activating your W will reveal you. So while stealthed, you will regen your missing mana at like 2% per second, because when you notice Eve gank, she really will burn through her entire mana bar per gank. So you need to use the Shadow Walk right there in order to regen it. Q is Hate Spike. This is your bread and butter clear move. You will fire a line of spikes at the target you're attacking. It will pierce them, actually hit the things in front of it, behind it. It's kind of like a straight line. It's like really narrow Cho'Gath Vorpal spikes, and you have to pay for them, unfortunately. So that will allow you to clear the AoE camps pretty quickly. Eve can start chickens, it's just I choose not to because I wasn't sure if I'd have the mana for it. But if you're really confident in your Eve play, by all means, go ahead. So the way your W works is that it'll give you a surge of movement speed, it'll cleanse off slows. By the way, I ducked into the brush right there to proc Greenfather, so I get a little bit of extra damage on it. So going back to the W, you get a surge of movement speed, you cleanse any slows off, and whenever you damage something with a spell, well, an enemy champion I think, but whenever you damage them with that, it will reduce the cooldown of the W by 1 second. So Eve is really, really good at chasing people down, and even more so when you get her Rylai's. So they trade right there in mid. Ori burnt her flash in the process, so I'm gonna make Ori's life miserable, just in case you're wondering. Kinda sucks that the baby chickens reset, but Eve is all about kiting as you clear. So not really much I can do about it. In case you're wondering, I'm not using my E here because I'm trying to conserve mana. If I had the machete, I would get a lot of health back from the E, but I don't. And on the topic of that, in case you're wondering what it is, you have to use it at very short range, but you basically do 2 auto attacks to an enemy in quick succession, and you get an attack speed buff for 3 seconds, I think. So later on, once I have the Runic Echoes, I will just said actually twice, but I'll actually sit there and face tank the camps. The reason for that being is due to the attack speed from your E, you can clear them really, really fast, and the attack speed scales at the rank of the move, ultimately doubling. Eve hurts, is what I'm trying to get at. So right here I ignited him because I was hoping to get that off before his Q went through, but he did. He got the healing, it just didn't matter in the grand scheme of things. So he goes down, that's stack number 1 at Bounty Hunter. So right there you got to see the E, it's 2 auto attacks, like I said. It will apply on-hit effects, which is how the AD Eve build works, in case you're wondering. You can go Blade of the Rune King, you can get Wit's End. Like, Wit's End is actually a little nasty because you'll take off 10 MR, and then all your stuff other than the E does magic damage, I believe, so it hurts as a result. So right here was a bit of bad luck involving Graves, and by bad luck I mean for him. So we took a lot of pieces out of him. Ori moved, but Sona smells blood, so she's on the move. So I get the assist, Sona gets a kill, I ping that Ori's missing because she was probably trying to get over to Graves, but that's something that probably puts him in a bad mood. And then finally, your ult is Agony's Embrace. This is a short-range, rather large area of effect move. It's a skill shot, in case you're wondering, because I think I do miss it once here because someone flashes or something. But you deal a percentage of the enemy's current health, scaling off your AP, and then for every enemy hit, you will generate a shield to protect you. So this is how even tank Eve is somewhat viable, because you just drop that ult and your durability skyrockets. So right here I'm pinging my health. I'm trying to tell her, no, you really do not want me to gank here, because it's going to go as bad as you think it is. So right there was her Ignite. If Sona used W, I would have lived, but since she didn't, I don't. And this is why I'm saying I'm not really listening to anything you say anymore, Sona. I tried to tell you, you still wanted it through, and you came back to lane, you're almost dead. There was no reason to bother with that. I don't care if you're a plat player, you push the envelope, I'm gonna mute you. So anyway, I grabbed a pair of amp tomes on that back. I could have gone for the Aether Wisp, it's just going this way gives you 10 more AP at the cost of movement speed. I'm not too concerned about mobility, at least now. In case you're wondering, I do not go Moby Boots on Eve, even though you really can, because you want to get up close to the enemy. But on the flip side, because of that, Cloud Dragons are actually really, really good on Eve. They basically will allow you to get close to an enemy without popping your W and revealing yourself in stealth. And on the topic of stealth, I should also point out the duration between your last attack and when you stealth again will go down as you level up. It's 3 at its lowest, I think. And that's kind of awkward. Overall, I think they probably should have expected me by now. So right there, we pop the black shield. I ended up catching the dark binding, but right here, Morg has nothing left. So I get her, and that's stack number 2 of Bounty Hunter. Sona also roam top, so they can manage to collect Darius. The downside is, though, that they're leaving mid exposed, and I would... like, there's no way this is a fair trade. We're basically sacrificing our most valuable turret for 1 kill. And in case you're wondering, I can't do anything there because I'm a melee against 2 ranged. And I think they're both running Thunderlords. I can't remember what Graves is running. It's just, if I go there, I'm going to die again.
The night is my veil.
Your turret has been destroyed.
So first blood tower goes to them. And unfortunately, the thing I've been noticing a lot in Flex Q these days is that I guess people watch pros and want to be like them or something, so they make these really poorly timed and planned out roams, and we lose more as a result of their move than we would have gained if they just played the simple way. So anyway, Darius goes down, but he had Ori there as reinforcements. Sona bites the dust. And in case you're wondering why I'm not going up there, it's just because I didn't have any mana. Like, I could get up there, but the best I could do would be like auto attack, and that's assuming I can get close. You have to remember that Ori does have a slow and a speed up on her W. If she had used that, like, I wouldn't catch her. I wouldn't have the mana for my W in order to cleanse the slow and catch up to her. So right there's the W, in case you're wondering.
Into the night.
So right here I get to soak up a little bit of EXP as I move, but part of my goal here is to just try to fill up my bounty hunter stacks. So there's Graves down bot. I was wondering, can I get Ashe? She's going behind the tower, but she's not. So we gotta kill her in front of the tower instead. Or no, it's Darius that dies here, not Ashe. So overall, I'd say that was a good move on Darius's part. It's just, like, this early in the game, Sona can't really spam her songs, so she's not as helpful. But anyway, Darius goes down. I already have his stack, so it's just more of a denial kill. I really don't know what Sona was thinking about going in on that. People are pinging on Ashe, and no, it's not happening. So if I had Runic Echoes, I could at least harass Graves a little bit. Problem is I don't. And fortunately due to the... okay, I got the spellcasters. I was about to say I don't get the melees because of the, just how inaccurate the hate spikes are. In case you're wondering how the line is determined, it starts from Eve's model and goes out to the target you're attacking. So if there's something standing to the left and right, they may not be hit, but if they're standing behind it or in front of it, then they can be hit. To be perfectly blunt and maybe a little pessimistic, I would not be surprised if Hate Spike ends up becoming a targeted skill shot type thing. Well, not targeted, but just a skill shot. So anyway, we have 4 people mid, counting me. We're chasing down Ori. She has no mana, and I'm after her because I want her bounty hunter stack. So in case you're wondering, yes, I did try to time that. Thunderlords, I think, was the death blow. And then Graves thought he could be sneaky and catch up to Leona from behind. Unfortunately, Renekton and I were watching the minimap. So right there we got his flash. He's doing the skill thing. I don't even want to really call it a skill thing, it's mastery at best. So right there he wanted a showboat, and he has to pay the price for it. So just imagine, if he hadn't flashed the mastery banner, Renekton may have let him live. Not likely, but we can assume. So right here, that's stack number 3, by the way. I want Ashe for stack number 4. So I don't think Ashe realized she hit me with the volley. She did stun me with Crystal Arrow, it's just at point blank it doesn't last very long, so I could unstun, go after her. I'm waiting for Black Shield to go down here, then I'm going to smite her and execute her. So I'm at 4 stacks right now. The only stack missing is Graves. So you know who I'm going to be aiming for in the near future. So right here they're pinging, hey, Graves is up, don't do the dragon, and I'm just wanting to proc my Runic Echoes to get some mana back. Sona's in kind of a similar situation as me, it's just my passive gives me mana regen, while hers does not. So right here I'm kind of waiting to stealth, in case we want to try to turn this around. I do have my ult. Just keep in mind Varus has pretty much no mana. So right there I did the hate spikes. My shield didn't actually last that long because, well, I got hit by a variety of damage. I'm running scaling stuff, and there were 3 of them on me without my teammates nearby to start punishing them. As a result, I do go down, but I did deal a lot of damage. Ori bit the dust already. I think we're going to... I thought we got Graves, but apparently not. The important thing is, though, that they're too banged up to actually do the dragon themselves. And with an Infernal Dragon, if you go Assassin Eve, you can really pull off some cheese, you'll see later on. So Renekton's here just to defend the tower. Morg misses the Dark Binding on a stationary target. And I want this so I have a slow that I can apply to people. This does mean leaving Renekton alone, it's just he has some sustain with his Q, I think is the called meat. So he can heal off minions with that.
It takes a lot of effort to move like this and heal.
So right there I was hoping to find the Scryer plant so I could get some vision, but no dice. So instead I just opt to pay a visit to mid.
If I must.
Now Leona and Varus are nearby. Pay attention to them because they're the ones who are going to make or break this play. I don't have a lot of MR just yet to resist Ori's damage. So notice Varus. Headshot! And then red buff will tick me up, but I have enough for my Royal Eyes, I think, so... Well, I'll have enough in a second. So I can go grab that, and then I can basically kite people to infinity. So there we go.
Into the night.
And at this point I don't need to wait to fully heal, because like I said, I have a red buff, so that will top me off. Anyway, we lose Renekton for Darius. Sona gets the kill. So in case you're panicking about the whole mid lane Sona thing, I wouldn't recommend it, but it's doing decently, wouldn't you say? Until it goes down right there to the Morg. But we do get Ashe in exchange, so it's not that bad. So without anything to grab on the field, I decided, you know what, let's go help ourselves to a dragon. So I probably should be around a little bit here to try to generate echo stacks. That's basically my mana regen during this fight. Since Q is so spammable, I will generate 10 stacks every time I push it. It's just... that's the other reason why you want to kite as Eve. Not only do you actually mitigate the damage you're taking, but you will also charge up the echoes, which will give you more mana, so you can spam more. So right here with no mana left, I don't really want to fight Darius. With my W, and just because I'm not Darius, I'm actually pretty fast, so I can make a getaway. You can see mid-inner is pretty banged up. And I do want blue buff, even though I don't need the mana regen, just so I can have the CDR. It's going to allow me to spam my spikes a bit more, and because of the Rylai's, that means I'm going to be able to kite that much better. Overall, for the build I'm going, CDR is really hard to come by, I'm afraid. That charge move is why I really don't like the new Rift Herald. It's kind of obnoxious how it will reposition itself and you. It can make attacking the eye a little annoying. So we'll pass that over to Renekton. It's up to him what lane he wants to go to. In all honesty, top lane's a kind of bad lane to do that because if you notice, the towers there are already gone. Like, if anything, mid lane would probably be the best place to drop it.
Into the night. From the darkness.
So that camp dies kind of quick, don't you think? Now right here I don't have any potions, I'm kind of low on health. For me to fight, I basically have to land my ult. Like that. So right there I used it for its slow. I can use W to cleanse the Ash slow, and with my Runic Echoes and everything there, I will be getting assists from these kills. So right here I'm hovering in the wings in case I can pick off any stragglers. Overall we just get the Morgue, but because I don't really want to flame the Sona, but why would you pick mid Sona? I would say trading her for Morgue is a good trade on our part. So anyway, there's the Herald. Unfortunately, I'm a little too banged up to actually help defend it. People make a big deal out of this, but if you actually make a small coordinated effort, it really only takes 2 guys, to be kind of honest. You can down the Herald really, really easily. So you can see that it was just summoned and it's already dead. If you're jungling and the enemy team gets the Rift Herald, the advice that I have to give you is pay attention who has it. Try to force them to drop it. Then you and your lane partner can force them out of lane and then just pound that Herald's eye and it's going to go down. If for some reason the jungler decides to ignore the Rift Herald, then yeah, this is the most OP thing in the history of the game. But if you're jungling, hopefully, if you're jungling and you don't get it, hopefully you take what I say to heart. Now, I have to point out, 4 stacks of Bounty Hunter. The remaining one is Graves. So she's down. Stack number 5. Morgue goes down, I get the assist. I don't know if I hear with the hate spikes or if it was the Runic Echo, but also keep in mind, Runic Echo is a spell. It will apply my slow. So if anything gets marked with that, it's going to basically freeze them in their tracks. So at long last, we finally get the mid-outer. So right here I thought Darius was going to start dunking people like no tomorrow, but they managed to pull that off. Now in case you're wondering, Varus needs to drop his E to shut down the Darius heal. And then he can probably actually kill him, because the way the W works is it's percent HP damage once you pop it with a spell. I'm throwing that over the wall so we can see if anyone's coming their way, by the way. So you can basically pop that for percent HP damage, and from there, he doesn't heal as much, you just gotta kind of kill him before he dunks you. And luckily, since the Darius is so far behind, that's not that hard to do. So right here I'm waiting in hopes Graves comes my way. Since he doesn't, I go to him. Now unfortunately he has a Phantom Dancer, so if you're wondering what that means, I'm not hurting him as much as I normally would. As a result, he manages to get the kill on me, otherwise that should not have played out that way if not for that freaking Phantom Dancer. I should also point out with the Graves nerf, he doesn't get MR from True Grit anymore, so my spells, like, they're more effective than they used to be. Now even though Sona goes down here, she actually did play things correctly to deny Darius the resets. Problem is it doesn't really matter because Ori goes in there and butchers all of them. Now Ori is the really fed member on their team, so I need to itemize accordingly. So right here I'm getting movement speed to try to dodge her ball. After that I'm going to go for Banshee's Veil to actually block her damage. She's pretty much the only member of the enemy team I'm worried about. So the other reason for this video is I did want to show off how OP Banshee's Veil is at the moment before it gets nerfed. It's like the must-have item for Assassins, and since I'm playing Assassin Eve, obviously I do need it myself. So Darius goes down. You can see Ori was right there. It probably made him feel safe. And fortunately, we do not get Graves before he can smite that. So to make up for that, we have to kill him and his AD carry too. Now right here, there's no reason to continue fighting. I back out. I managed to pull one of the spooky ghosts with me. But Leona joins the fight. We lose Renekton to Ori. Then Leona kills Ori. So one of the things I'm trying to do here, if you haven't noticed, is while they're team fighting and everyone's occupied, I decided to basically go off and try to split push a nearby lane. The reason for that is, if we win the fight, we can then pressure that lane, and if we don't, well, I'm still getting some CS, I'm forcing some minions into the tower to be denied and damage the tower. So right here I want to go into the jungle because I do get lifesteal from jungle creep, because of the way the machete or the jungle item works. Plus, I want to deny the blue buff from Ori. Since she's the really fed one, taking that away from her is significant. Now, unfortunately, Varus completely chickens out because I think we could have turned that around. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt and assume he had no cooldowns or something. And Renekton dies to all 5 members of the enemy team. So this game I am kind of hogging the red buff because Eve has problems with health, if you haven't noticed. For her I'm wondering, do you actually want to go for the Hunter's Potion, because you do need something to keep you sustained. If you're not going to hog the red buff like this, you may be kind of forced into getting it. You do get a little bit of healing from the machete and killing the jungle, well, not the machete, the actual jungle item and the jungle camps, but it's not really enough. So right here I know Ashe is in the brush, so I drop my ult. Applies a slow, Morph puts up her black shield way too late. I finish her off with hate spikes, I hit Ashe to get the assist, then I ignite and smite Ori, then run her down for another kill. So overall I have about 100 health left, which if I did not have the red buff for regen leading up to that, I'd be dead. Anyway, we have enough to finish the Lichbane, and I'm kind of doing here what I do on Diana to a certain degree, since I want the additional ratios. I get the Runic Echoes and the Lichbane, that way I have just more burst. And you'll see how ridiculous this burst gets in a little bit. But anyway, we have the Fiendish Codex there for a little bit of CDR, and like I said, we're going Banshee's Veil because it'll help me with Morgana binding, with Crystal Arrow maybe. You'll see me troll Morgana hard with it, by the way, so just keep that in mind. Very, very good item. Overall, I think Riot may want to revert that one just because that's too strong. Swap it in the Abyssal back, otherwise Like, that's part of the problem with Fizz these days, if you didn't know. It really doesn't matter how his laning phase goes. At level 6, he has the means to kill whoever he's up against unless it's some sort of special tank, and even then he's still pretty decent at busting tanks. The way you used to deal with him is you'd CC him into the ground. Up, here comes one of my favorite kills of the game. So from full health, ult, Q, smite, E, good night. From full health through her shield. So right there, Sona flash crescendoed. I wasn't really paying attention to the flash. The thing is, we catch Ashe. As soon as she has that and she's tanking tower, I jump in immediately. She's still tanking tower, by the way, but we can go ahead and pick up Graves. He goes down. Shows off his mastery banner, but it doesn't really matter. Now Darius here got the memo. He knows to stay the F away. Morg, however, did not. So right there, she pops her ult. Unfortunately, she comes out of stasis before it finishes proccing, so I get stunned as she dies. Her stun finishes as my Q goes off. I get the kill, and I think I've had a triple kill at the moment. No, unfortunately, my W is down, so I can't actually finish off the Darius. And since I'm not tank Eve, I can't actually afford to tank the tower. We do lose Leona here, and then I die to the Crystal Arrow. Since that's from a screen's width away, that's a 3-second stun. There's just no way for me to survive that. So right here I'm trying to ping someone, hey, don't try to fight this, don't try to turn around, just summon go bot, clear that out. And here I have the Banshees to basically withstand that first spell. So I want another amp tome because I'm not going to get a defensive item last or anything. I'm going for broke here, full assassin. Keep in mind Zhonya's is actually a decent buy in this game, so if you were having a little bit of trouble, don't hesitate to get it. It's not that bad an item. It's just, like I said, I'm going for broke here. So pop the W, get the home guards as I'm leaving base, and I'm trying to get to the spot lane fight immediately because I know something's going down here. So Ori goes into stasis, she blocks the Leona ult, she ignores the Varus ult, but great news, I'm here! So right there I kill Graves with Thunderlords, I kill Ori, and fortunately Morg realizes I'm going to kill her if she walks back here, so she decides to suicide into Varus. So unfortunately I couldn't get Ashe, but I can help myself to the Infernal instead. So this is our second Infernal. I was pinging Sona, hey, you have no reason not to be here, you have mana regen in the form of your Chalice or Grail or whatever, and I'm tanking this so you don't need health. There's no reason to go take that damn fruit when that dragon is standing. And right here we're going to come to my second favorite kill of the game. So I'm going to give blue buff to Sona because I'm hoping she'll spam some songs with that. And we saw the hawk shot, so we know Ashe is around here. Hey Ashe! So yeah, that was QE, auto attack, echoes, and Lichbane. No ult, no smite, no ignite. This is how scary Eve can be if she gets ahead. She actually can go back to being an assassin like she was in earlier seasons. So right there was Crescendo, followed up by a stun from Leona. I managed to pick up a double kill. And hopefully you can see that I'm kind of just running away with the game here. Right here I realize, hey, there's no reason for us to fight under tower, just walk away. Pull them out a little bit. We do have a wave right there in the mid lane, and since I can't really do much here, I do drop my ult. Ah, I got the kill on Darius, I forgot about that one. That was Ignite, by the way. So while Runic is eating bows and shells, well, bow arrows and shells, I decided, you know what, let's go pressure mid. Unfortunately, my team leads them right to me, so I can't actually take this tower. But we can leave the minions there to put the tower on the brink of death. So right here, I figure Leona's dead, but apparently she had flash or something, so she got to safety. Ashe goes ahead and clears out the mid wave so that we can't get that tower. And that's kind of unfortunate. I don't know if my team was just running to me because they thought I could do something to save them, or if they weren't paying attention or what. But because they did that, no tower. Now right here is when I troll Morg with my Banshee. So her ult was completely blocked by my Banshee Veil, and she's going to talk about that in all chat right here. What the hell, you should have been stunned or something like that, and the thing is, I was next to her for her ult, I had the Banshees up. Yeah. I also did give a little bit of BM by telling them how much Morg was worth. Not really even my time of day.
It takes a lot of effort to move like this in heat.
But if nothing else, I hope you guys take from this video that Banshees is very, very broken. So right there I ulted Darius to deal percent HP damage. Graves smites early, so I can go ahead and smite that easily. Right there I jump on Ori because she is the fed one if you haven't noticed. I don't get an assist off Graves, but like I said, Ori, fed, aim for her first. If she is gone, that takes out the majority of the enemy team's gold, and from there they're sitting ducks. So right here I'm trying to harass them a little bit. I end up taking a lot of damage and I have to fall back. Since I have Baron, I can go ahead and recall and then get back really fast. And since I'm going for broke, I want Gunblade. By getting this, that will address my whole sustain problem. I don't know if it's actually worth getting earlier. And keep in mind, by activating it, it's technically another spell and therefore another ratio. So right here, I'm just barreling up here as fast as I can. I haven't actually activated my W just yet, though. So with the 2 inhibitors down, there's no reason for me to go mid or bot. So if you notice the minimap, I've changed my course to the top lane, and I figure, let's get that 3rd tower. And in fact, at this point, the game is so skewed, it doesn't really matter if I'm in the fight or not. So right here, I'm popping the W just for Lichbane procs. I'm doing the same thing with the Q. That way I can destroy the structures more quickly. One mistake I made here is I did not E one of the minions. You can actually E the minion to kind of kill it, but you get the attack speed, then turn and hammer that structure with your attack speed. It melts fast. So overall, this wasn't that one-sided a game as it started out as, and I have to say that this was probably like one of the best games I've played in a long time. Just in terms of enjoyment, how neither team really had any glaring problems. It was just good, and then we outroamed them in the end. So right there is Eve's box. If you notice, that's a solid S. I'm getting closer to the next promo series, but I really don't care about boosting this because I'm just trying to highlight some of the quirks about Flex Q. So you can see for damage I actually did the most. I did not take the most, unfortunately. But overall, pretty solid Eve game, so I'm definitely satisfied with it. Unfortunately, you can see I dropped as few wards as Leona, of all people. Remember, she was our actual support. Go figure, I know. Anyway, Client Quits here. I'm the Hero of Light. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.